What's up, family? One of the things, finding tarot and especially astrology the year before 2024, I've been interested my whole life. But astrology, I knew like my major placements, and I got a more in-depth reading. Kept having to reschedule it, and finally, I was really inspired by podcast Oath Oracle. She's a fucking badass. To check her out if you haven't already. Instagram and on podcasts. Started deep diving into my astrology chart, and this is in January 2024. Throughout that year, and my own life is in a really difficult place, but learning my astrology and how especially like the Chiron, the wounding, how all the different stuff played out and interacted between the planets and the houses and stuff. Man, it gave me so much freaking hope and peace, and finally, like everything in my life made sense. All the drama, all the chaos that I've gone through, all the pain and abuse, and all the stupid shit that I've done as well, out in the world, especially when I was, sorry, messages, especially when I was out in my addiction, years ago. Everything finally made sense when I learned my astrology chart, and then towards the end of the year, and then in 2025, I've been learning tarot a lot more, especially on YouTube, learning, following some channels and some really good readers. And the thing with tarot that's so freaking awesome to me is that it's like the way I interpret it and the people that I follow, it's not like a fortune telling thing. It's not to predict the future and like communicate with spirits and all that kind of stuff. It's so powerful because it because it ties in with astrology, it ties in with the planets, it ties in with numerology, all of the shit with the astrological signs and everything with the major arcana is like the wheel of life. So it's like the birth, the evolution of the human soul through the world, and then completing the cycle with the world at the end. And it's like the hero journey, the human journey that we all go through on some level, and sometimes through many incarnations. But it makes sense because it all ties in with the freaking astrology, and with the planets, and with the energy, the earth, air, water, fire, energy. And when I started to see these signs, it was like, holy crap! Like, and tarot readings actually saved my life a few times last year. It's just hilarious. I was learning so much and about like just crazy people like narcissists and psychopaths, and doing all their satanic magic and black magic. It's just wild, man. It's just wild because these things kept coming up in different readings, and the reason they work is because of your own intuition. If they're real for you and they're right for you, and this goes for the same just with like psychics, intuitives, people that are on the spiritual path, like whatever. When you find channels that you really vibe with, it's because their intuition is on the same level as yours. Sorry, my dog is drinking very loudly right now. But that's the thing that I really love about tarot. It's not because it's like a fortune telling system or divination or anything like that. I mean, to an extent it is, but it's just because it ties in with what's going on with the stars, what's going on with God and the Holy Spirit, and whatever your spiritual religious belief system is. Like the spirit, the universe, God, creator, can use all of these systems to talk to us. And for some of us, it's like they come in at a certain time of our life and just do exactly what they need to do during that time. Sometimes we'll find tools that we really like, and then we'll end up using them for life. Other times we'll just like a lot of what I've done in the last year, as I'm learning how to use these myself as well. And mostly it's just confirmation that I already know how to, and that I'm on the right track. But when you find channels and YouTubers that you really like, it's confirmation. It's confirmation. And sometimes that's all it will be. Sometimes like you're not necessarily a reader. You don't want to be a psychic or intuitive or have a freaking YouTube channel, everything. Did you even ask, dude? You're just gonna jump right on my bed. You didn't even check. You gotta ask Papa. But yeah, the whole thing with tarot, man, astrology in 2024, tarot in 2025, they've literally saved my life, and allowed me to go so deep during this time. It's like the darkest of the dark season of my life, and it's been 15 years. It's been 15 years of just almost unmitigated hell with chronic illness and having to move a dozen plus different times. like multiple times in a year, being sick, like losing business, like having like losing multiple businesses, fake lawsuits, like you name it, I've been through it, and all stacked one on top of another for 15 fucking years. The last year and a half has been the worst of the season, falling into complete disability, and the level of like felonious criminals that I'm dealing with right now, on top of all of this stuff, trying to take me out, trying to take me down for good. It's like, it's just wild. But finding tarot, finding astrology, finding out what's going on in the stars and why, like how that relates to my chart, and like why all these different things are happening, and confirmation from a lot of tarot readers and a lot of astrology channels this year. It's like, this isn't the end, dude. These people that are not choosing evolution and not choosing love and not choosing honesty and not choosing accountability, they're going to be getting their just rewards. Like this is their season now. They've chosen not to do the work, and you know, these are full grown adults. They've made their choices, and just having these confirmations one after another in my own readings and in all these different channels that I've been on has been huge. It's been life changing. It's been life saving. So, just a quick note about tarot and astrology. There's so much cool shit, so much cool wisdom in these systems, and they're just tools. You know, they're tools that we can use to connect to source, to connect to God. And sometimes we'll have them for a season. Sometimes we'll be like, yeah, this is something that really works for me, and it'll be something that we do either like with regularly, if it's like a hobby, or if it's something you do for, you know, financial, like business purposes or whatever. I think another thing that's happening right now with Uranus in Taurus for the last 8 years, and Pluto in Aquarius, so many things are just shaking up, and Capricorn, or Saturn's been Pluto and Aquarius. I don't remember Capricorn or Saturn, but these Earth planets have been just really shaking up the economy, and technology and all this different stuff is just changing things so freaking fast, so fast. And how we make money, how we provide for ourselves, how we do all these things of like day-to-day living, that's being shaken up for the whole collective humanity. When I started learning how deep and how real astrology is, and looking at all this shit and looking at what's going on in the charts and then comparing it to like what's going on in the world, it's just like mind blown. It makes sense. Everything freaking fits into it. Everything fits into it. It's not just some random shit of like, you know, the daily horoscope and how's my day going to be based on my sun sign. Dude, that's like such a minuscule. It's almost irrelevant. Like that kind of stuff. The things that you find in magazines and newspapers is not, in my book, in my understanding, it's really not even relevant to what astrology is and what tarot is and what all these things are. These are like soul growth and soul evolution work, and it's literally, in my opinion, it's the most important things that you can be doing, that we can be doing as humans on the planet right now. We're going through rapid phases of evolution, and many of us are evolving, you know, on top of breaking off generational curses and trauma and karma from our lineages, from our parents, our grandparents, going back 4, 8, 16, you know, 24, 32 generations through the whole family tree. Like so many of those things have gotten passed down onto us. And some of us are breaking off like dozens of those in our lifetime for our family, for our ancestors, and for our descendants, so that they don't have to carry it on. You know, in the Bible, I don't remember the verse, but it says the sins of the father will be passed down through 7 generations. And from what I've seen, it's true. It's because trauma, the way that trauma impacts our fucking DNA, literally the stuff gets passed down and down and down and down and down, and people end up repeating these patterns through, you know, through their family and their lineage, and or their children pay the price. These curses, these things are real, man. This is real stuff. Spiritual warfare, all of this stuff is real. It's so important. It's so important. And then the many Native American tribes had a very similar belief system about how they approach the world, and what are they going to do? Well, you need to think about the next 7 generations coming after you. Then you make the decision. And imagine how our world would look if people in leadership, fathers, mothers, people in freaking government started thinking this way. We can do it, dude. This is the time. Like, society's getting reset right now. The last time the astrology was lined up the way it is right now was the American and French revolutions in the 1700s. And now we have like the technology that we have, the weapons, the warfare, the kind of stuff, like it could be complete and utter destruction. Like all life could be erased like that. If some maniac presses the button because they're so freaking unstable and they have access to those codes, it's just wild. I pray that that's not going to happen, but it's on the table. It's on the table, possibilities, and look what's going on in the United States and other places too. But especially in the U.S., man. What happens in the U.S. determines so much that happens globally and throughout Europe. Things are a freaking mess right now. But with great chaos creates great opportunities, for change as well. And we can create a world that works for everybody. There's no reason not to. We have the technology. We can solve pretty much any problem. There's no reason for food insecurity. There's no reason for homelessness. There's no reason for addiction. There's no reason for any kind of mental health issues anymore. Those are all just made up problems. And pharmaceutical companies and the government make a lot of money off people being sick and broken. But they're not necessary. We don't need to keep doing that shit anymore. It's really a matter of, to a point, education, but mostly political will and just decision. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with all of this that we have right now? There was something else I was going to say. Yeah, it's just the Pluto in Aquarius, man. Death and rebirth, tower moment, the power of Uranus. Like quick, fast electricity destruction. Electricity is also the element of the angels. Angels are always associated with electricity traditionally. It's not like considered one of the four elements properly, but it's very interesting, very very interesting when you start looking at history and some of the great inventors and thinkers and philosophers. Going back, Nikola Tesla, and then years before that, and then thousands of years before that, and crazy some of the stuff they're finding too with technology. With these ancient structures, the old temples, the pyramids, and things like that. So many of these things were obviously, if you know anything about construction, they were built with advanced technology. That there's no way that even with like hundreds of thousands of slaves and elephants and everything else, that these things could have been created, and these stones cut with like laser precision to where you couldn't even slip a credit card between. And not just the pyramids, but go back thousands of years. There are just so many things that the stories that we've been told are often about power and control. It's not. You got to learn to think for yourself if you're not already. Hopefully you are if you're on this channel, or if you're looking at astrology, if you're looking at tarot, yoga, human evolution, all these things. You're probably already keen to a lot of this stuff, but. We get to build a new world right now, if depending on what happens with the situations, with all the wars and everything that these people want to have happen so bad. It's an interesting time to be alive. It's a very interesting time. And I think that a lot of us chose to take on a lot of karma for our families and for our own selves. It's a really tough journey, but I feel like the rewards are going to be just freaking magnificent as well. 1313 on the clock. Just absolutely like earth-changing, and the fact that God has entrusted us to do this work. That we've evolved enough and done enough work to be here at this time. To not only be able to take on all this shit from our own family, from our own lives, from our own abusers, if you've been dealing with like narcs and psychopaths and stuff like that. It's not pretty. It's not pretty, man. It's people that are just out for destruction and death. We were entrusted to take on all of this, to overcome it, to heal from it, and then to fix the whole freaking world while people are actively trying to destroy that as well. Society, the physical world, the ecosystems, everything is on the verge of collapse right now, and we're the ones that came in to deal with it all. So fist bump if you're here and you're on the freaking path, man. I salute you, and I believe in you. We got this. And tarot, astrology and tarot are magnificent tools to help sort like what's going on. So if you don't already know about your birth chart and your soul's evolution, if I do chart readings as well, dude. If you're interested, hit me up. My email, I believe that my email is on my main page, but I'll update some of that stuff because I started this channel a couple years ago, and it's mostly been sitting or being used for me to watch videos on YouTube. But anyways, yeah, dude, astrology is powerful. It's powerful stuff, and there's a lot of great books out there too. But learning these systems, it can be a really good way to help sort through what's going on and to know to know a little bit more about what your path is and what your evolutionary work is to do here. So, anyways, I hope you are having a great day, great evening whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.